We are in the Wakhan Valley at the Tajik-Afghan border. From Langar, we go to the Pamir Plateau to Bulunkul. Continue via Murghab and the Ak-Baital Pass to Karakul Lake. The border to Kyrgyzstan is closed, so we return to Dushanbe via the Pamir Highway and not through the Wakhan Valley, with overnight stays in Murghab, Khorough and Qalaikhum. We slept surprisingly well at the homestay in Langar at an altitude of around 2,800 meters. Shortly behind Langar, we leave the valley. The path takes us steeply and quickly upwards in several bends. Suddenly the vegetation disappears and we find ourselves in a desert of stones. This route takes us over the Karakush Pass at 4,300 meters and then back down to the Pamir Plateau to the M41. It's constantly going uphill and the landscape is becoming more and more inhospitable. We look over at the mountains of the Hindu Kush, whose peaks are up to 7,500 meters high. Suddenly we see Marcus and Stefano in front of us. We drive together for a short distance, but we are too slow for them. Even if our driver really does his best. Now we go along the Pamir River. It is one of the two headwaters of the Panj and forms the natural border with Afghanistan. Shortly before the top of the pass, another GBAO permit checkpoint. And then it goes completely unspectacular, without serpentines or anything, at an altitude of 4,300 meters over the Karakush Pass, or simply over the end of one valley into the next valley. We reach the M41, the Pamir Highway, which we drive along for a short distance before turning to Bulunkul to spend the night in this yurt. After a short lunch of fried fish, we took a look at Lake Karakul. Then we go back to Bulunkul, the only place on our trip without internet. We spent the night in the yurt and in the cold at 3,800 meters. We both get headaches and sleep poorly and only little. Despite everything, we really liked this small village. The next morning, after 1 or 2 ibuprofen, we set off towards Murghab and Karakul. The wideness on this plateau seems almost endless. Even here, at an altitude of 4,000 meters, they still keep sheep. Unexpectedly, Marcus comes towards us, but I don't think he recognized us. Another checkpoint. In Murghab, we briefly stopped at the homestay, then we continue towards Karakul. Suddenly we see it, the Chinese border fence. The road runs for several kilometers along the Tajik-Chinese border. Here, Stefano also comes towards us. We explain to him which homestay we are in and arrange a meeting with him in the evening. Now it's going up the last few meters to the Ak-Baital Pass. And then we are at the top, at 4,650 meters, the highest point of our journey. Another short trek along the Chinese border and we reach Lake Karakul. It is the largest lake in Tajikistan with an area of 380 square kilometers. Lake Karakul is located at an altitude of exactly 4,020 meters. It has several inflows but no outflow. The water temperature is around 13 degrees Celsius in summer. That was also too cold for Sandra. So we make our way back to Murghab. We take one more look at this beautiful lake. Then we cross over the Ak-Baital again, this time in the opposite direction. Back in our homestay in Murghab, we spent the evening and the night in this cozy room. The next day we want to drive from Murghab via the M41 to Khorough. That's approximately 320 kilometers. There isn't a lot of traffic, but there are a few vehicles on the road. We even see a cyclist. I don't know why, but our driver has to overtake all. At some point we leave the plateau and slowly but surely come into deeper areas. The vegetation immediately returns and the population becomes denser again. We already know Khorough from the outward journey at the end of the second day. We are back in the Wakhan Valley and want to go from Khorough to Qalaikhum today. But we won't just drive through to Qalaikhum, we want to stop in Pastouf, means just before Rushon, to visit the family of Sandra's work colleague Niso. Unfortunately, we only have 1 hour for this visit due to the opening times of the construction site. Niso announced us to her family this morning, but we haven't got an address. We should just ask around. That's exactly what our driver does, and so we find the house of Niso's parents very quickly. We are expected, the whole family is there, except for Grandpa. The journey was too difficult for him. In addition, the German teacher also joined as a translator. We are received so friendly, you could even say heartfelt. For us, it's an incredible experience. Thanks to the German teacher who translates everything, we can communicate quite well with the family. As a farewell, each of us receives a traditional Tajik hat and warm Tajik wool socks. We're almost a little ashamed that we didn't bring a present, but at least we can take Niso's grandma and niece with us all the way to Rushon. We arrive at the construction site in time and can drive through. Too much dust means no visibility, so there is only one way out of it for our driver: overtaking. That helps sometimes, but unfortunately not this time. This road takes its toll, shortly before Qalaikhum also from us. We spent the night again at Homestay Roma. Today we're going back to Dushanbe. We look one more time at this raging river and at the Afghan shoreline. Deeply impressed by the peaks, lakes, rivers and people of the Pamir Mountains, our journey on the Silk Road ends in Dushanbe.